Hello, this is Claude, and today I'm doing a video about ARGB. Can I power with an external power source a whole bunch of more RGB in the reel using the data on the header on the motherboard, just the data? And I'm going to answer that right now. So here I've got the reel of ARGB. All right, so this is the reel that I'm using. I've got about 300 ARGB individual light in the strip, right? It's going to be powered by a power supply and outside external power supply external to my computer. I will be using the computer that I was showing already. You can see this is the connection point that I'm going to be taking right here. All right, so this is the connection point. So I've got one Asus ROG RGB strip with the 15 LEDs on this one. So I'm going to use that, all right, as the entry point. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the electrical diagram, or the diagram of what I'm doing. So this is the diagram of what I'm doing right here. All right. This is the computer. That's the motherboard and computer. I've got an Asus Z690-E, Wi-Fi gaming, whatever it's called. Let's pretend this is the header of the ARGB. So you always have three, three connections in there. You got the positive for the voltage, and then you've got the negative for the ground. And you've got the data. It's a little D here for data. All right. So these are going to connection. So this is my power supply. I set it at 5 volt, maximum 7 amp. I can preset it. So I've set it there. So this is why the way I'm doing it is I'm just taking the data power. This is what I'm doing with my little additional device. And let me see the take that I'm taking. So basically what I'm doing, the data here is actually going here. So this is the data. This is the prong in the middle. This is why it's the green cable coming out. So I just took a connector. So I took the connector of the data and I came to connect it on the data on my, harness that I did. That's going to connect to my LED strip. I'm going to show it to you in a second. The ground, because the data needs also to come back to the ground, so I'm connecting the ground cable that I have. I connected as well with my power supply to my little device that I've done. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. So this is the diagram, and the answer is here. It's about 120 LEDs that you can power with the computer header on the data only with external power. All right. So this is, let's go through that. All right, so how do we get to this amount of 120 potential additional LEDs that we can do? So basically from the connector, I'm taking the data cable right here, the green. So I did the GST connector. So my data is coming all the way to this little connector that I've done over here. So I've got the data coming into the green cable, and then it's connected to my LED strip. And after that, these two cables on my strip, the black, which is the ground, and the red, which is the 5 volts, is coming from my power adapter. Right, so the power adapter is right here. So that's coming, so that's the black and the red over there. All right, and the last one that I said from the connector, the ground cable as well coming out of the computer. I've connected here 2 grounds into my little makeshift connector that I did. Let me do that here. So on that little makeshift connector, this is where the 2 grounds come in here. So this is exactly what I'm showing right here on the diagram. All right, the ground from the motherboard, or the header in the motherboard, is going into that power connector that goes into the strip. All right, so that is where we are right now. So this is a spaghetti on my desk, but let's do it to the best of our knowledge right here. All right, I'm going to turn this on, see what happens. There you go. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see what I've got. 6 volt. I put 6 volt. It's a 5 volt strip, but I overpowered it a little bit. Let's reduce it. There you go. a little bit more than 5 volts. All right, I'm running at about, I don't know if you can see, but 1.7, 1.8 amps. All right, so this is coming from the computer. The computer's got a strip, and then on that strip there is 15 LEDs. All right, so if I count all the way here right now, I've got 15 LED. So here, if I count all the way here, you see here it stops, right? So it goes through here, but then it stops. All right, so it no longer gives the data here. If I put my my multimeter, if I take the multimeter and I connect it at the end, on the end connector of the LED strip, I will still have the 5 volts, but it doesn't light everything up because it doesn't send the signal beyond that. I've got 2 strips, and if I add the strip, the thing is, if I add the strip, will I reduce? I've got another 15 LED in the computer. I will reduce, I will reconnect the strip. Am I going to lose those? That's the thing. If I lose my additional 15 that I'm adding in the computer, it will give me a confirmation that the header has a maximum that it can power the data. It can power the data thing in there. All right, let's do that. All right, I'm disconnecting this. All right, I am reconnecting the other strip that I have. Sorry about that, but I do have my RGB. Now I'm going to take that little thingy there, thingy-majiggy that I did, my little connector that I did with my ground and my data. You can see the ground is also the black's the ground and the data connected. All right, so let's keep an eye now on the strip. The minute that I connect, am I going to lose 15 on the strip to show that there's a maximum amount? Connecting. All right. I'm powering all the other ones, but you can see I did lose the 15. Now they all connect, you know, they got power because of a residual signal for the data that it sees, right? So the whole reel is, you know, because there's the 5 volt going through it. The data is not. So the data is not going. So this is why here I was going all the way about here on the strip. And now I'm just going to put a color that's easier to see. I'm going to go red. I'm going to go static. I'm going to go put the red color. There you go. Hopefully it's going to be easier to see on the camera. All right. So I'm going red all the way to here. All the way to here is red. After that, it's whatever data that it had. It just took whatever was there. Anyway, so I went down by the 15. So it's basically my way of realizing and being able to answer the question, is there a maximum amount that we can do? According to I've got 30 LEDs back to back, and then after that I've got the 90s over here, which gives me a total of 120 LEDs that I can and send the signal for the data signal into a strip that is powered by external power. So nothing's gonna bust. Like I can see, I've got a reel of about 4 meters in there, or 3 meters. Nothing happens with that. Nothing's busting. The only difference that it's gonna make is that it's not gonna, signal's gonna die at some point and it's gonna stop. So the number of LEDs that can be done is that 120. So my conclusion after this exercise is that can you add RGBs external that are powered externally with a power supply, but still using the data from the computer? The answer, yes, it can be done. But if I look at the 120 RGB that I came up, with my calculation, with my evidence that I've seen, if I take 3 amp, which is the current rating for the header in the computer, and I divide by 0.025, which is the current draw for each RGB theorical, that gives us 120. So what I think is that the controller on the computer knows, and then it sees every RGB, and it gives it an address, so it knows how many it gets, and at 120, no matter what, it stops in order to protect the current and to protect the chips on the motherboard. So I think that regardless if it's powered externally, the computer will still stop at its theoretical limit. So it can be done, yes, but it has no benefit to do that. So that's my conclusion. All right. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.